Hey everyone, welcome to this free mini class all about how to stop procrastinating, start doing, and making an impact. In this free mini class, I've given you a PDF with simple questions to help you each step of the way. I ideally recommend you taking out time to reflect, introspect, and answer these questions on your own first, and then even with a friend. How many of us waste so much of our time overthinking, overanalyzing, and procrastinating, which blocks us and stops us from achieving our potential, from reaching our goals and objectives, and really from making the impact on people all across the world in whatever form it may be. Overthinking and procrastination are completely on the rise. 20% of baby boomers were overthinkers, 52% of Gen Xers were overthinkers, but today 73% of Gen Y or millennials are overthinking and procrastinating. This is wasting our time, draining our energy, and really stopping the flow of ideas and the ability to make our dreams happen. In this free mini class, I'm going to give you 3 simple steps all about how you can stop procrastinating and start doing. How you can quieten that part of you that likes to overthink and overanalyze, and how you can give energy to the part of you that comes alive, that wants to thrive and make a difference. My recommendation for this free mini class is make sure you have your notebook out. I highly recommend that you scribble down ideas, thoughts, lessons, and principles as I'm sharing these new ideas and insights that are going to make an incredible difference in your experience. The principles that I'm sharing in this free mini class are backed up totally by behavioral science, my personal experiences and learnings from years of coaching people one-to-one, and also from noticing real-life experiences, philosophy, and many different thoughts and perspectives. All in all, this free mini class is going to give you the foundational tools into assessing why you overthink and analyze and how you can overcome it today. The first thing that we need to understand is that procrastination often happens when we're trying to make a decision. Decision making is like a muscle. The more effectively it's used, it gets stronger and becomes more useful to you. But when it's not used effectively, when it's engaged in unproductive ways, it can actually become extremely stiff and hard to make use of. It stops being beneficial, stops being advantageous, and starts being a block. One of the reasons why we procrastinate so much is that we have used up the power of decision making in small, insignificant, irrelevant decisions. When we're wasting our energy to think about small, insignificant, or irrelevant decisions, what happens is that when we're faced by a bigger decision, a bigger idea, a bigger selection or choice, we start to struggle. That muscle has been overused. It's become overtired and overburdened, so we can't effectively engage it anymore. How many times have you had that experience where you almost feel tired to make the decision? You're looking at your list of pros and cons and you still can't figure it out. That situation, that circumstance, that experience, which I'm sure you've had, I've had, is called decision fatigue. It's when you've used your mental energy to make so many insignificant decisions that you're experiencing fatigue from doing that. Let me give you some examples of those types of decisions. One of the common examples is what we wear. If you just for a moment became aware for how many minutes a day, maybe hours, you spend on selecting what you're going to wear, you'll notice how much energy that takes from you. The second one is what you're going to eat. How many of us spend hours every day trying to figure out what we're going to eat? These 2 decisions are decisions that have been automated or somewhat made simpler by some of the greatest minds. A good example of this is Steve Jobs and Mark Zuckerberg. Steve Jobs, when he was in the most pressurized situations in his life, when he was on stage launching the new Apple product, he would wear exactly the same thing every time. He'd have his black turtleneck, he'd have his blue denim jeans, and he'd have his New Balance trainers. Now, whether you like that outfit or whether you agree with it as a fashion statement, that's not the point. The point is that when he needed all of his energy, his creation, his ability to project and express a message, he wanted it all to be contained for that reason and that reason alone. He did not want to use an ounce of that energy for anything else. Procrastination is a symptom of not managing our energy effectively. Mark Zuckerberg, exactly the same. He's been going to work in his gray hoodie and gray t-shirt and blue jeans since day one. And these are examples of people who've removed the decision fatigue from their life so that they can use it to make the more important decisions. One of my favorite examples from Daniel Levitin's book, The Organized Mind, is of Warren Buffett. He talks about how when Warren Buffett is making important, key investing decisions, he moves into an apartment in New York and spends a week there and completely simplifies what he's eating that week so that he can make conscious choices about where to invest his money. Again, the stripping away, the simplifying, and just focusing on the essentials is such a key skill that will help you to stop procrastinating. The more you're using your mind's energy and your brain's energy to just process simple tasks and simple solutions, the less likely you'll be able to apply that energy to the tough ones. So that's how to stop procrastinating. It's by making sure that you have saved and preserved energy to tackle the big decisions in your life. My second step is all about how you start doing. And maybe you're already at that stage. Maybe you just don't know where to start. Maybe what's stopping you and blocking you from growth is just going, well, what do I do first? And the funny thing is, the answer to that is just start. That blog you want to write, start it today. That video you want to make, start it today. That play that you want to write, start it today. That book you want to publish, start it today. But here's the tip. Here's the insight. Start with what's known as an MVP, a minimum viable product. This is when a company builds a prototype or a test version of the final product so that they can focus on testing the effectiveness of just the essential aspects of that platform. It's like when on Instagram you could only upload pictures. Now you can upload video, now you have IGTV, now you have the ability to search with more discovery tabs. That didn't exist on day one. It's evolved. Stories evolved. These things weren't there the first time you used Instagram. So building an MVP is saying, how can I strip away all the things that sound really tough and expensive and simplify my first step? For example, if your goal is to write a book, ask yourself, how can I just write the introduction? Maybe that's too big. Maybe the question is, how can I just focus on figuring out what the contents are? And even if that's a big decision, ask yourself, how can I just write a one-page blog? That is a minimum viable product. You get the ability to test the effectiveness of your writing, your communication with a very little investment, and then with sharing that, you can gather feedback, gather constructive criticism, and gain all the ideas you need to progress. Every time I come up with a new business idea, every time I come up with a new idea for a new video, I always test it with the least amount of investment first. That gives me confidence. That gives me conviction to then invest more time, more energy, and more focus into that space. For example, let's say that you think you love photography. Rather than going out there and buying the most expensive camera in the world and the expensive editing software, just start with your phone. Start taking pictures. See people's feedback. See what they like about it. Start opening up a photo album online so that people can come and interact with your work. What is the simplest way of capturing your idea in a way that requires little investment of time, money, and energy? That's your minimum viable product. Focus on creating that and not the end goal. A book may take you 18 months to write. Your MVP will take you a month, or maybe even a week, or maybe even a day. And the final aspect of stopping to procrastinate, start doing, and making an impact is really thinking about what that means to you. We stop procrastinating when we stop making us the center of that decision. There's an incredible quote by Maya Angelou that completely summarizes this for me. She says, "People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." People will never forget how you made them feel. People will forget people who broke records. People will forget people with numbers, views, followers, all of this. But people will never forget the impact of how you made them feel. When you start there about how you want to make people feel, what difference you want to make in people's lives, how you want to energize, enthuse, motivate, grow, serve, help people, That will stop you from procrastinating. So many times people ask me, Jay, how do you push yourself towards your goals? How do you push yourself to get up in the morning? And my simple answer is, I'm actually pulled by my calling. I'm not pushing myself at all. It's coming, the energy is coming to me. So that's how procrastination stops. When you're trying to figure it all out in your head, you'll procrastinate. You'll overthink, you'll overanalyze. But when you recognize the difference you want to make is outside of you and beyond you and bigger than you, that's you'll be motivated to get started today. I really hope that this free mini class has given you some insights into how you can stop procrastinating. There's a ton of articles out there about 4 ways to stop procrastinating, 3 ways to not overthink. But the truth is, the answer lies in very simply these 3 key elements. The first is stop wasting your decision-making power on insignificant choices. The second is build an MVP, test your idea, get some feedback, allow that to help you grow. And the third and final one is you'll stop procrastinating when you recognize you can make a difference. You can actually make a difference in people's lives. Thank you so much for watching this free mini class. I really hope you got a ton of impact and value from this. And I'm so grateful to you for watching my videos, liking them, sharing them, and being a part of this community and helping me make wisdom go viral. Thank you so much.